Hey, I'm Sarah. Have you ever been in a situation where someone speaks to you in English and you just nod, pretending to understand? Or maybe you've tried watching an English movie but couldn't catch half of what was being said. It feels frustrating, right? But don't worry, you're not alone. In fact, I was once in the exact same position as you. Let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was invited to a big international conference. The speakers were incredible, experts from all over the world. But guess what? I couldn't understand most of their speeches because my English listening skills were so poor. I felt embarrassed, sitting there with no clue about what was going on. That was the moment I realized I needed to change. And let me tell you, improving your listening skills isn't as hard as it seems. You just need the right approach. Today, I'm going to guide you through a step-by-step process that will transform the way you listen to English. By the end of this video, you'll have all the tools you need to understand conversations, movies, and even those tricky accents. And trust me, I've got a special tip at the end that's so powerful, it might just be the game changer you've been looking for. Ready? Let's dive in. To start improving your English listening skills, it's important to understand why listening is often so challenging. Many learners think it's about memorizing words, but it's much more than that. Listening involves understanding how words connect in natural speech, recognizing different accents, and picking up on speed and tone. Without the right approach, it's like trying to solve a puzzle without knowing what the picture looks like. So let's break it down into manageable steps. The first step is choosing the right materials. Think of English listening like building a house. You need a strong foundation. If you start with materials that are too advanced, like fast-paced movies or complex podcasts, you'll quickly feel overwhelmed. Instead, pick resources that are tailored for beginners or intermediate learners. For example, there are English learning podcasts such as BBC Learning English or ESL Pod, which focus on slow, clear pronunciation. Another great option is using videos or TV shows with subtitles. Start by watching content in your favorite genre, like cooking, sports, or travel. Watching something you enjoy keeps you motivated. First, watch it with subtitles to understand the context, then re-watch without them to test how much you can catch. Once you've chosen the right materials, it's time to create a listening routine. Consistency is key here. Dedicate at least 20 minutes daily to focused listening. For example, you could listen to a podcast on your commute, while cooking, or before bed. Over time, this regular exposure trains your brain to process English sounds more naturally. Now, let's talk about active listening. Many people think just hearing English is enough, but that's not true. To really improve, you need to engage with what you're listening to. For instance, pause after a sentence and repeat what you heard. Focus on how words are pronounced and try to mimic the speaker. This technique, called shadowing, is one of the best ways to improve both your listening and speaking skills. Another crucial step is understanding common contractions and phrases. Native speakers often shorten words, making them sound different from what you see in textbooks. For example, I'm gonna instead of I am going to, or wanna instead of want to. Recognizing these patterns will help you decode natural speech. Lastly, remember that improving your listening skills takes patience. You might not understand everything right away, and that's okay. Celebrate small wins, like understanding a new phrase or catching more words in a song. Each step you take brings you closer to fluency. Now that we've laid the foundation, let's dive into the heart of improving your English listening skills. These steps are practical, easy to follow, and will bring noticeable results if you stick with them. Step 1. Start with contextual listening. One of the biggest challenges learners face is understanding words out of context. That's why it's so important to begin with content that you're already familiar with or interested in. For example, if you love cooking, watch recipe videos in English. If sports excite you, listen to commentary on matches or interviews with players. When you understand the topic, your brain focuses less on figuring out the context and more on the actual words. An activity to try: select a short video about your favorite topic. Watch it once with subtitles and pay attention to the flow of the conversation. Then, rewatch it without subtitles to see how much you can catch. Each time you'll notice yourself understanding a little more. Step 2. Master the shadowing technique. Shadowing is one of the most effective ways to improve listening and speaking skills at the same time. Here's how it works. Play a short audio or video clip, pause after each sentence, and repeat what you hear as closely as possible. Try to match the speaker's pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm. It's okay if it feels awkward at first. Practice makes perfect. Example: use an English learning podcast and pick a short segment. After playing a sentence, pause and say it out loud. Then rewind and compare how your version matches the original. This process sharpens both your listening and speaking abilities. Step 3. Break down fast speech. English speakers often blend words together, making sentences sound like one long, confusing stream. For instance, instead of saying, "What are you doing?" someone might say, "What you doin'?" Learning to recognize these shortened forms is key to understanding natural speech. To practice this, take short clips of conversational English from movies or interviews. Play them at a slower speed. Most video platforms let you adjust playback speed, and try to break the sentences into individual words. Write down what you hear and then check your accuracy. Step 4. Practice listening without visual cues. While watching videos is a great way to learn, it's also important to train your ears alone. Try listening to audiobooks, podcasts, or radio shows where you can't rely on visuals to understand what's happening. This forces you to focus entirely on the speaker's voice, tone, and words. A simple trick: choose a podcast episode or audiobook chapter that interests you. First, listen with the transcript, pausing to look up unfamiliar words. Then, listen again without the transcript and see how much more you understand. Step 5. Mix it up. Finally, make your listening practice varied and fun. Switch between different accents: American, British, Australian, content types, news, storytelling, interviews, and levels of difficulty. This keeps your brain challenged and ensures you're prepared for real-life situations. Now that you're familiar with the core techniques, let's take it a step further with advanced strategies to supercharge your English listening skills. These methods are for when you're ready to challenge yourself and truly dive into the nuances of the English language. Tip 1. Immerse yourself in English. Immersion is one of the most powerful ways to improve any language skill. While it might not always be possible to live in an English-speaking country, you can create an immersive environment at home. Start by surrounding yourself with English sounds throughout your day. For example, play English music while you cook, listen to podcasts during your commute, or leave an English news channel on in the background. The goal is to let English become a natural part of your daily life. Even when you're not actively paying attention, your brain is absorbing patterns, phrases, and sounds. Over time, you'll notice that certain words and expressions start to feel familiar, even if you don't fully understand them yet. Tip 2. Focus on accent training. One of the biggest hurdles in listening is understanding different accents. English is spoken worldwide, and each region has its own unique way of pronouncing words. To tackle this, expose yourself to a variety of accents. For example, watch British dramas or documentaries to understand UK accents. Listen to Australian podcasts to get familiar with their unique intonation. Explore content from non-native English speakers to adapt to international English. An excellent tool for this is YouTube, where you can find content creators from all over the world. Another option is to use language apps like Elsa or Speechling, which often have accent-specific exercises. Tip 3. Train with noise. In real-life situations, English isn't always spoken in quiet, ideal conditions. You might need to understand someone at a noisy cafe, during a phone call, or in a busy classroom. To prepare for this, practice listening in noisy environments. How to try it: play a podcast or audiobook and add some background noise, like soft music or a cafe sound effect. You can find these on YouTube. This simulates real-life scenarios and helps you focus on the speaker's voice despite distractions. Tip 4. Dive into fast-paced content. Once you're comfortable with basic and intermediate materials, start challenging yourself with faster content. Think talk shows, debate panels, or unscripted interviews where speakers talk naturally and quickly. Initially, you might only catch 50% of what's being said, and that's okay. Break it down. Play a segment of fast content and listen for keywords or phrases that convey the main idea. Don't stress about catching every word. With practice, your brain will learn to process faster speech more effectively. Tip 5. Test your understanding. Finally, put your skills to the test. After listening to a podcast, watching a movie, or attending a lecture, summarize what you heard. You can do this by writing it down or explaining it to a friend. Testing your recall not only reinforces your understanding, but also highlights areas where you need more practice. Now that you have a solid foundation, core techniques, and advanced strategies, it's time to bring everything together in your daily life. Practical application is where the real transformation happens, and this step will help you integrate listening practice seamlessly into your routine. Step 1. Create a daily listening plan. The first thing you need is consistency. A daily plan ensures that you're practicing regularly without feeling overwhelmed. Start with just 20 to 30 minutes a day, broken into smaller sessions. Here's an example of a simple plan. Morning, 10 minutes. Listen to a short podcast or news update while having breakfast. Afternoon, 10 minutes. Watch a short video or TV show clip during your break. Evening, 10 minutes. Practice shadowing with an audiobook or podcast segment. The key here is to make listening a habit. Choose times in your day when you're naturally relaxed or have downtime, and stick to those slots. Step 2. Turn passive listening into active listening. Passive listening, like having English audio playing in the background, is helpful, but active listening is where you see real improvement. Let's say you're watching a video. Instead of just watching it once, pause after each sentence and repeat what you heard. Take notes on new phrases or words. Here's a fun activity to try. After listening to a short clip, write down everything you remember. Then replay the clip and compare your notes with what was actually said. Over time, this exercise trains your brain to retain more details from what you hear. Step 3. Use real-life scenarios. One of the best ways to improve listening skills is to practice in real-life situations. For example, if you're at a restaurant or cafe, Pay attention to how servers interact with customers in English. Join online communities or attend virtual events where English is spoken. Platforms like Zoom or Clubhouse are great for this. Watch live interviews or Q&A sessions where natural conversations take place. Real-life listening is often more unpredictable than scripted content, so this step helps you prepare for spontaneous speech. Step 4. Record and review yourself. This step might feel awkward at first, but it's incredibly effective. Record yourself repeating sentences or mimicking conversations from podcasts or videos. Then listen to your recordings and compare them to the original. Why does this help? It allows you to identify areas where your pronunciation, rhythm, or tone might need improvement. You'll also notice patterns in how native speakers stress certain words or phrases. Step 5. Celebrate small wins. Finally, track your progress and celebrate small victories along the way. Maybe you finally understood a tricky accent or caught a joke in an English movie without subtitles. Recognizing these milestones keeps you motivated and reinforces the belief that you're improving. Congratulations! You've now gathered all the tools and strategies to dramatically improve your English listening skills. Let's quickly recap the key takeaways so you can start applying them right away. Set the foundation. Start by choosing the right materials, creating a listening routine, and mastering the basics of active listening. These foundational steps help you build confidence and prepare your brain for more complex listening. Core steps. Focus on listening in context, practice shadowing, break down fast speech, and challenge yourself to listen without relying on visual cues. These core techniques are what will take your listening skills to the next level. Advanced tips. Immerse yourself in English, expose yourself to various accents, train with background noise, and dive into fast-paced content. These advanced methods will help you adapt to the unpredictability of natural English speech. Practical application. Make listening a daily habit. Turn passive listening into active practice, and take every opportunity to practice in real-world situations. By consistently applying these methods, you'll see steady improvement. Now that you know the steps, it's time to take action. Try integrating just one new strategy into your daily routine this week. Maybe you start shadowing with your favorite podcast or listen to a news update every morning. No matter how small the step, it's all progress. Remember, every great achievement starts with the first step. Language learning isn't a race, it's a journey. You'll face challenges, but with each practice session, you'll improve. So don't wait. Start today and celebrate your progress. The more you listen, the more fluent you'll become. I believe in your ability to master English listening skills. The road may seem long at times, but with consistency and dedication, you'll reach your goals. Keep challenging yourself and never stop learning. If you found these tips helpful, share them with others who are also working on their English skills. Drop a comment below and let me know what technique you're most excited to try. And if you'd like more tips on learning English or other related topics, don't forget to subscribe for more videos. You've got this, and I'll be cheering you on every step of the way. Take that first step today, and let's get started.